Hello fellow dragons, it's Shane from Astral Dragon Gaming, and this is my review of Pathways, a game coming from Robotality and the same people that made Halfway, which is basically a strategy game with turn-based idealisms, much like Wargroove, much like Advanced War, Tiny Metal, and a whole lot of other games that are all in the same vein. But this one is slightly different. It's much more a very themed idea. It's very pixel art driven, but it's also very interesting. It's almost as if you embodied the ideas of Indiana Jones, pumped it into a game, made pixel art for it, and then thumped it out and look, LucasArts is going to be banging on your door in the next 5 minutes for a new movie deal. Now, many people play these games, but a lot of people are wary of them, and I think they shouldn't be, because they are a very interesting game and they give you a great depth of play. But we'll continue on and move on through the various things. First of all, we'll have a look at how it looks. It's very much a pixel game. It's very simple, it's very easy to interact. The buttons for your user interface and everything is all sort of very crisp, but it looks very much like a... what's the best word to describe it? It looks very much like it's a journal that you're constantly looking through for your notes and whatnot, and you're an archaeologist come adventurer trying to save the world from Nazis, which is basically part of the game as well. So majorly it's based in the African area, where in the northern African area around the Sahara, you basically pursue various adventures to achieve various goals. Each time you're presented with a map with various directions to go. You have no idea what all the dots mean, but they'll go somewhere. And the whole idea is that each time you play the game, it unfolds a different story, because each time you start a game, you have a chance to choose whichever adventurers you wish to actually participate in. And as you participate and as you get further along the game, you get more and more items, and you are able to acquire more party members, depending on how far you progressed in a game. Now, I love the overall design of this game. I love the feel. I love the atmosphere of how this looks and is projected as an Indiana Jones sort of adventure. It inspires that whole thing. Much like how Wargroove sort of inspires this kind of fantasy, attacking everything with your troops and everything, this has a more gritty idealism of your individual people pitted against a very large war Nazi machine, or various sort of unknown terrors of the desert of the ancient world, and you have to solve these problems. It is extremely engrossing. It is unbelievably tense, the choices you make depending on what is happening, what's not happening and whatnot. And I cannot stress how much this game develops itself more so from the story point in that respect. Now we'll have a listen to the music, the sound, and just the general gameplay and how it sounds to your general ears, and I'll get back to you in a second.
Chattering excitedly, you stroll back to your Jeep. You get in and drive into the setting sun while Morton entertains you with his absurd anecdotes.
So as you can hear, it's very well sounded. It has nice gritty sort of desert-like sounds. It has that Jeep as it sort of screeches through the desert sands and comes to a halt when you come around points and whatnot. I love the sound of that, the sound of explosions. Even the gunshots I don't particularly dislike, and I love the sound of when you knife someone and they fall down dead or they bleed out suddenly. It's really very engrossing, and I love how it all sort of comes together and it just makes the entire picture of it so much more. But the other thing is that it cuts out a lot of the cutscenes by having these sort of stark story points, much like how what's the game? Into the Breach, or even more so FTL, Faster Than Light, which you had to travel through the galaxy and you had to go through these different storylines. But this, it encompasses that idea and gives it more depth by giving it a picture and showing you visually what's transpiring in your story, and you can become more invested in the story because it's really good and it's really different, and it will always be different each time you play with different characters as well, which is another great selling point. And you can expand your characters as you get further in the game, giving you more experience. It's a really well done idea. It actually comes back to a very early game, long time ago, back in the old days, like Windows 95, where LucasArts put out, I think it was called Yoda Stories or something. Someone will have to comment down below and correct me. But basically, you had this little adventure where you would go through these different screens and they would always be generated differently, and it was always around these Star Wars themes. And this is what this gives me. And as the name and title says, Pathway, that's what this game sort of projects, this pathway of finding the different ways around things, and it's always randomly generated. There's no set path that you can follow each time you play this game. It's all down to your decisions, your makeup, and what you're going to do. Now, there are many missions through the game, but they will only be unlocked as you progress through the game, as well with a lot of the people that are contained as the characters you can choose for each adventure will only be unlocked as party members as you progress and do certain things through the games. Like one, you have to do 100 ambushes, another one you have to kill off 20 zombies, another one you have to kill Nazis in a certain way, and there's a whole list of everything. But it's not all just go in there and hammer and tongs. A lot of it is stealth. A lot of it is making decisions whether your party members are capable of solving a problem or not. And sometimes it's just a question of you look what you have, what you don't have, and you just go, I'm walking away. Another really big thing about this is your fuel consumption. And this is why it sort of comes back and reminds me of FTL, where you will run out of fuel if you go to too many spots without enough refueling stations. But you've got to find the fuel as you go. So you might find it in a crypt, you might find it off Nazis, you might find someone that's actually selling it to you. Oh, hold on, you got $5 short, you got no money. Oh, you've only got 2 loads of fuel. Right, where do I go next? And it's these nail-biting sort of crunch points where you come into this game and it's so good. It's so engrossing. And the best thing is when you die with whatever party you have at that point, you're kicked straight back to the menu screen and you have to start again with whatever party members you have capable of. You can revive party members at a cost, but at the same time, these things sort of amp up and say, okay, in order to get further along in the game, I will have to do this. And it is saved to your profile. So in order to get past a mission, you have to finish an entire mission. It's really, really good. Now, I'm going to finish off this review with basically an overall sort of thing. I loved it. I've been watching it for many months, and I think for anyone that loves Indiana Jones, you are going to want to buy this game. It is so full of many hours of gameplay, lots of weapons, lots of tools, lots of skill upgrades, hundreds of hours of different things you can and can't do. Another wonderful thing is zombies. Yeah, zombies pop up. And that kind of freaked me out. So we're going to finish off this review and watch me play my zombie run through and getting completely cactus. But I would highly recommend this game. It's an extremely enjoyable game, and you would be hard pressed to find a game that's in one respect very casual, but in another respects very nail biting. And I love it as much as I love Wargroove. So that's been me from Astral Dragon Gaming. I hope you've enjoyed the review. I really would like you to comment and hit the like button and come back and see me for more. So hit the subscribe button and other bits and pieces. But other than that, I hope you've had a great day, and I will see you on the next video. Bye for now.